So budget speech is over with a mixed feeling, and a good idea would be to go and ask an expert. So I have a special person with me. His name is Sachin Gurav, and he is a chartered accountant by profession. So I believe he is an expert to give his opinion on Budget 2020. So about Sachin, he is an international certified trainer. He trains people on personal finances, and he also helps corporate in terms of their financial management and help them increase their profitability. So he's also author of an upcoming book, Wealth Sutra. And let us go and hear from Sachin that what is his opinion about Budget 2020 and get a highlight on the book.
Thank you, Vijay, for this opportunity. And I agree, during this start of 2020, everybody has been looking forward for this budget. Why? Because of the global slowdown. In Indian market itself, as well as the economy, there has been a slowdown. So with all these mixed challenges, it was a big task for the Finance Minister of India to present the budget, which again would ensure that we take up our economy and accelerate our economy. So in a very brief view, rather than going into sections, I will divide the entire budget proposals which has come up as to how it will impact, what changes they have done at a very macro level, so that even a layman understands. So to start off with, first we will know that the tax rates. What the Finance Minister has done during this budget is that she has given an option for tax assessees, especially salaried and small micro entrepreneurs, to choose between an old regime of taxation, personal taxation, and a new personal taxation regime. Now, I think the main thrust why they have done this is to ensure that people make a choice, especially people who are below income level of 15 lakhs, and ensure that there is a consumption increase for Indian economy. Now, if you go a little deeper in this personal taxation regime, which options have been given, what the government has done is that in the old regime, we had a tax slab up to 15-20 lakhs, which is a little bit higher bracket. But now what they have done is that they have given an extreme reduction in tax, but taking away the exemption and deduction. So overall, what I feel is that by giving an option, especially for salaried entrepreneurs, this is a chance where you can have some small savings, say between 50,000 to 70,000. So this is one major change which they have brought in. Now, this is very important change because what will happen is 2-3 things. First thing is that all the employers are required to focus on the employee tax reduction, because at the beginning of the year the employees have to declare that which option they are choosing. Number one. Number two, from my perspective, this is going to affect only people who are having income up to 15 lakhs, 15 lakhs. Because over and above this, people have a very high rate of tax. So I doubt if there is any big relief for people who are earning above 15 lakhs because of this choosing the option. And the third important thing which a lot of people have not understood even in the news is that this is an option which people can choose, especially the employees and certain small micro entrepreneurs can choose every year. So the choice is with the people depending upon their income level. Now this is the first part which I said in terms of the micro and small income earners. One more catch which has been brought up in the budget, especially in context of employees, which a lot of news channels have missed, is that a person's aggregate NPS contribution, superannuation contribution, and PF contribution, first time in history, as far as I know, has been capped at 7.5 lakhs. Meaning what? If an employee is getting superannuation, NPS, and PF, all this put together, there has been a cap of 7.5 lakhs. Now, believe me guys, this is going to have a lot of impact on high net worth individuals as well as people who are in higher income bracket. So this is point 2 in terms of the personal taxation regime. Now the third most important.
So my question is, how is it going to impact? Can you elaborate a bit on that?
Yeah. See, people who are earning income up to 15 lakhs, and this is my view, they may have a marginal relief in terms of taxation. And when I say marginal relief, they may save somewhere between 50 to 70,000 rupees. But I personally feel that the people who are in higher bracket, they may choose the old regime because that will be beneficial for them, as they can take the deductions of home loan interest and other things. And also, Vijay, your valid point is that, I mean, the way you asked is people don't know in high net worth category that this 7.5 lakh cap is going to hit them big in terms of the taxation from an employer's perspective. And to proceed further, this is a game changer in the budget. What they have done is they have removed the dividend distribution tax. Now, how does this work? A lot of people don't know. Let us say there is an Infosys company. An Infosys company gives me a dividend of $100. Now, when they give me $100, what Infosys will do is they'll deduct 21% or withhold 21% tax, and the balance, let us say, for example, 79 rupees they give to me. Now, what this budget has done is that 100 will come to me directly, and whatever tax bracket I am in current today, say for example, I may be in 10, 20, 30%, whatever bracket, I will have to ensure that I will pay the tax from my pocket. So this is a big game changer, because what will happen is people who are getting dividends, they will have to show this in their return of income and pay the tax. So I personally feel that, although the government has said that they are foregoing 25,000 crore of revenue, I think it will be a huge revenue for the government, because a lot of investors are in high cap bracket of say between 30-35%, as against a withholding tax of 21%. So to put it in a nutshell, earlier $21, the 21 rupees, dollars as the case may be, the government was getting. Now I expect that to go higher, right from 5% to even 35%. So this is in terms of the main personal taxation regime. So I spoke about the option of rate changes. I spoke about the tax bracket which people will fall, and third most important thing, I spoke about dividend tax. Now, other than this, there has been certain concessions in terms of real estate transactions, where the government has just scaled down the taxation from 5%, from 10% to 5%. Meaning what? In certain real estate transactions, you may get a marginal relief of 5%. Also, there has been a home loan interest increase. Additional year, they have allowed you to get the home loan interest benefit of 1.5 lakhs, which is a good benefit. Apart from this, also the affordable housing developers, meaning developers and builders who have developed housing, affordable houses, for them, the tax holiday was extended by another 1 year till March 21. So this is something which, are the main key drivers in terms of the personal taxes. Now, if you talk about the corporate taxation, I think they have given certain relief for startups, where, they have extended the exemption of, the tax holiday or exemption of profits to certain additional 3 to 4 years. Also, they have increased the cap for the startups in terms of turnover up to 100 crores. This is a good move for the startups. Apart from that, in terms of the corporate sector, a lot of changes has been happening in terms of e-assessment, GST, etc. I don't want to get into that. But where the government is going is towards the digital compliance, where you'll not have face-to-face assessments. You just need to upload the return. You'll get notices online. You need to reply notices online. All this is happening, but we are taking it to the next level. Apart from this, if you see, major changes which has happened is in terms of reduction of tax rates for cooperative sector societies from 30% to 22%. There have been certain small withholding tax rate changes. What do you mean by withholding tax changes? Sorry. See, earlier when we are remitting money outside India or even in domestically, when you are paying income to somebody, the withholding professional tax rate was 10%. Now this has been reduced down to 2%, which will give a huge cash flow for professionals and also foreign investors. There have been certain procedural changes in terms of PAN and Aadhaar, where the government wants to, just at a click of button with Aadhaar, you can upload, you can get the PAN number. So these are all some small changes. Other than this, in the indirect tax regime, as you all know, we are waiting for GST to set right in the system. Although the government is proceeding towards the e-invoicing mechanism, it will take some time because of the GST and network HS, and also that the technology has to be geared up by the industry. Now, in terms of agricultural sector, there have been huge reforms, and I'm moving through small micro sectors, and wherever I feel there is a huge macro concept I'm explaining. There's been huge boost for agricultural sector. Of course, it has to be wait. We have to wait and watch as to how it is going to proceed. Because generally I've seen that although there is huge, what you can say, projects for agriculture sector, still there is always a backlog because of the implementation issue. Also, in terms of MSMEs, there is good news that in some cases they have reduced, they have eliminated the audits. So MSMEs up to 5 crores. Okay, again I'm repeating, MSMEs up to having turnover up to 5 crores need not get their books of accounts audited. This is a huge jump. Maybe the government wants to streamline certain compliance processes for small industries. They have amended certain due dates of filing reports, which will reduce the compliance burden in terms of small business entrepreneurs and small MSMEs. So these are some of the major things which has happened in the budget. Over to you, Vijay. Any specific questions, etc., so that I can take one by one.
So ultimately, we know that there is a slowdown in economy in our country, across the world, and there are trade wars going on, Brexit happening, and we are also talking about the $5 trillion economy, right? That is what we have been hearing from very, very long time. And but then where do you see that? I mean, with these changes coming in, do you think, are we aligned to the goal, or how is it? I mean, because everybody was saying when this government came that at least 7-8% we will be growing, and that is what was expected. So how do you see this whole thing? Like, what I want you to little bit tell me is, how do you see the first stint of Modi ji and the second stint of this government? What is your take on this?
That's a very, very tough question, but anyway, I'll answer.
That's the reason I asked you.
Yeah, I agree. See, to be very honest with you, although I was not expecting this kind of budget, to be very honest with you, I thought they may do some small tweak changes and take it forward. But the way they have done the changes, although they are very bold steps in terms of abolishing the TVP, and sorry, one important point I missed up is that actually they have reduced in September 19 the corporate tax rate up to 25%. It's come up to 25% depending upon a new company. So although I agree that the government has been doing a lot of measures like abolishing TVT, having some reduced corporate tax rates and all that, but to be very honest, I still see there's a lack of lot of liquidity and money in the market. And with all this, NBFC challenges and all that, I really hope and pray that whatever they have proposed is achieved. In other words, I have a 80%. Not 80%, 60%. My gut feelings it will happen, whatever they have planned, but still 40% the doubt is there, considering a slowdown. And this is something which I want to tell the audience also is, I am expecting, I hope I am wrong, that in 98 we had a recession, 2008 we had a recession. 2019 I expected in 18 also, but because of certain challenges it didn't happen. I expect there will be a global additional slowdown maybe by 2020. And in this context, I still feel India will still have a little bit challenge, but let's see what best can be done. So in simple words, I feel still it will be a very big challenge for us to achieve this growth. So we'll have to hope for the best. And I agree that Brexit has come in now. To be very honest, we have to wait and watch how the world economies play us.
Right. So I think very, very informative, because I listen to the 1 or 2 1 hour kind of a session, but then how much descriptive it is, and it's very difficult to grasp everything. But you gave us a very, very crisp overview on what are some of the major changes which has happened, and the positive outlook towards this. And we know that what are the challenges already present in the economy, and government is trying to do best from their side. So I think as I expected, very crisp and to the point information which I got in last 15-20 minutes when you explained us in a very, very simple language. So we had a pretty interesting discussion with CA Sachin Gurav, and thank you so much, Sachin, for sharing in depth analysis on the budget 2021. So, as I said in the beginning, guys, Sachin is also an author of upcoming book, Wealth Sutra. This is a book which is going to help people on personal finance and also corporate people in terms of understanding some of the concepts of finances and wealth. Sachin, you want to talk about it in little bit detail?
Yeah. So thank you, Vijay. I think always, that in terms of wealth, which people always discuss, one of the most important thing is that, we need to have a very strong fundamental understanding of the wealth. So this book, which I have written, is purely to understand how do you plan and build wealth, both for businesses and also for individuals. So, this is purely a book on fundamentals of building, planning and building wealth. From past 15 to 20 years, I have been in the finance field, and there was this secret which was lying with me after a lot of corporate and consulting experiences, and also working with businesses experiences, which has resulted in this book. I'm a very passionate person in terms of numbers, creation of wealth, and that is the reason I chose my CA field. So this particular book is purely a book which will provide you a system of how do you plan and build wealth. And it is useful both for businesses and also for individuals. So I hope a lot of people buy this book and ensure that they plan and build their wealth. Thank you, Vijay.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure because this is the 20 years of your experience, right? Which is coming in a form of a book. And being an author, I know that when I'm recommending something and is being recommended for somebody, it has to be good. And I'm sure it is going to be a great book, which is going to help businesses and corporate. So thank you, Sachin, for your time. I really appreciate, and guys, hope the information what CA Sachin Gurav has given you has kind of added to your knowledge, and you will have a better understanding of the budget 2021. So that is all I have today, and we will again come back to you with another video. Thank you so much.
Thank you.